If Russia and the United States actually got together and got along, and don't forget, we're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. There's no upside. We're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. I've been briefed, and I can tell you one thing about a briefing that we're allowed to say because anybody that ever read the most basic book can say it. Nuclear holocaust would be like no other. They're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are we. If we have a good relationship with Russia, believe me, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
So when you
Donald Trump says the world faces a nuclear holocaust like no other if he is unable to pursue a good relationship with Russia. And he appeared to blame a string of aggressive moves from Russia on the media, because negative reporting of the Trump administration's links to Russia led Vladimir Putin to believe he could no longer get a good deal with the US. He said, "I don't know that we're going to make a deal. But it would much easier for me to be so tough on Russia. The tougher I am on Russia the better, but you know what? I want to do the right thing for the American people and the right thing for the world." He added, "Don't forget, we're a very powerful nuclear country. So are they. There's no upside. Let me tell you, I've been briefed. And the one thing about a briefing that I can say was, nuclear holocaust would be like no other. If we have a good relationship with Russia, believe me, that's a good thing, not a bad thing." He also denied he had any knowledge of his campaign staff having contact with Russian officials before the election. But he said he had not fired Mike Flynn for discussing sanctions with the Russian ambassador before he took office, actions which could be illegal. Complaining again that Flynn had been unfairly treated by the media, he said he was glad his former national security advisor had the conversation with the Russian ambassador. But he said he had not ordered him to do so, and he was fired because he misled Vice President Mike Pence about the content of the phone call. The bizarre exchanges came during a lengthy and rambling press conference, in which he railed at the media, attacking individual reporters for not telling the truth, singled CNN and the BBC out as fake news, and went on to misrepresent the scale of his election victory. He said his 306 electoral vote victory was, I guess, the biggest electoral win since Ronald Reagan. This is untrue. Every president since Ronald Reagan, with the exception of George W. Bush, won their elections by a greater margin than Donald Trump. Confronted with this falsehood, Trump at first said he had been talking about Republicans. But when he was told of George H. W. Bush's 426 vote win, he said, "I was just given that information, I was just given it, we had a very big margin." The reporter asked, "I guess the question is, why should Americans trust you when you accuse the information they receive as being fake when you're providing information that is not accurate?" Trump said, "Well, I was given that information. Actually I've seen that information around. But it was a very substantial victory. Do you agree with that?" The exasperated reporter simply replied, "You're the president." Trump also took aim at Hillary Clinton, whom he claimed had given 20% of America's uranium to Russia while she was Secretary of State, in a bid to reset U.S. relations with Putin. This is untrue. Russia, through a series of investments and purchases of uranium mining firms, now owns around 20% of U.S. uranium extraction capacity. But there is no evidence Clinton was involved in the deals, or intervened to make them happen as part of a bid to reset relations with Russia. The State Department was just one of 9 agencies which were involved in approving the deals. The Washington Post has a comprehensive fact check of this claim, which Trump has made repeatedly, they awarded it 4 out of 4 Pinocchios.